screws?
The benches.
Oh, yeah, we're take pictures.
Yeah, because I learned that when we did the cushions.
No, as soon as we pull the carpet out, we'll screw back in.
Whatever, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is you can't mix and match the
Right.
pews. Every one of them bizarrely is different. Miracles.
Well, they cut the carpet, it's not under it. Yeah, see, I think this is cut out, there's no carpet.
Is the only reason you have to take the screws out and the pews out is to paint?
Well, because the carpet.
No, the carpet, you don't need the carpet.
I thought the carpet isn't underneath.
It's, no, the old carpet is underneath. For them to try to take that out, they would charge us a fortune.
Oh,
Well,
you're
if
saying
you take
the old
it out-
carpet is underneath.
Yeah, but I'm saying, you can take
No,
the
no, no.
screws out, lift the carpet out,
Right.
okay, let it sit there, push up against it, and screw it back in, so when the new carpet comes in,
No, they just,
it's
just put it on the edge.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I was. Okay.
What's that?
No.
What's that? Well, let's wait until the board decides, Larry, because we're gonna get the other estimate, and, it's also a matter of timing. Well, I mean, we're not gonna be here to help volunteer, but if you're thinking this, with a congregation of all types, what could go wrong?
For the high holidays, I said, we need to do this, skip this, do this. What we were.
Oh, especially that.
As long as Patrick doesn't go to a wedding beforehand and start drinking early.
Patrick is not here.
Oh, Patrick's not here?
Not yet. He's perhaps not going to get here until 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Because he had a gig tonight. Originally, I said, sort of, things last week.
Yes.
So, yeah.
out our Siddur, we're going to be using the bracketed page numbers. So there, if you notice on the bottom of the page, there are two sets of numbers. And we're going to use the ones that are in the brackets. Ine matzogu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matzogu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matzog, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matzog, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matzogu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Ine matzogu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. On page 121, we will light our Shabbat candles. And we'd like the volunteers to come on up and no one? Okay, I guess I'll do it then. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which we live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Together we read, bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. For our ancestors, Shabbat was a sign of God's covenant of peace with the universe. They kept it faithfully. When their lives were torn, Shabbat made them whole. When their lives were bitter, it brought them sweetness. And when their lives were peaceful, it deepened their joy. Our ways now are not like theirs. We have many idle days, but few Sabbaths. We speak many words, but few prayers. We make the earth yield to our purpose, but are unsure of the ground beneath us. But here now we can begin again. Or having already begun, we can continue our quest for the wholeness we need. Page 127, let's read responsively on the top of the page. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a hoard of plenty that can never be exhausted. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. We offer thanks to God for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing to God. Page 135, we find Psalm 99, Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachvu lehat kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu chakavu lehar kodsho ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ramemu ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'tishkachavu lehar kodsho Ramemu Adonai Eloheinu v'tishkachavu lehar kodsho. For those of you wondering, we are without organ tonight, at least until around 8 o'clock. Since we moved our service 1 week, Patrick had something he already committed to tonight, so he'll be here as soon as he's out. He texted me and said the ETA is 7:50. So we'll see how close his GPS was. But we will hunt around with that. So Lecha Dodi is found on page 138. And this is a poem composed by the 16th century Kabbalist Shlomo Halevi Alphabets. And the first letter of each of the first 8 verses spell his name. You see the shin and the lamed and the mem and the hey. Each of those letters in each of those verses spell out his name, which happens a lot in biblical poetry. That the person who wrote it used an acrostic as the first letters, so either his name or some other important aspect of that prayer. But we're going to sing Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. 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 Shamor mizakor b'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hamichad, Adonai echad, Shemo echad, L'shemu tiferet v'tila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Verse 2. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor habracha, mirosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshavat tila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, ki ba'orei, uri, shir dabereri, kevor Adonai alai etigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. We rise and face the entrance to welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, dam v'simcha u'b'sola, tov emunei am segula. Boi kala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat lekabela. In our time of increasing anti-Semitism, it's important for us to remember and to maintain our sense of Jewish pride. Let us read responsibly a list of Reasons why we should be proud to be Jews. Page 203. I am a Jew because the faith of Israel demands no application of my mind.
I am a Jew because the faith of Israel requires all devotion of my heart.
I am a Jew because in every place where suffering weeps, the Jew weeps.
I am a Jew because at every time when despair rises up, the Jew rules.
I am a Jew because the word of Israel is the oldest and the newest.
I am a Jew because Israel's promise is the universal promise.
I am a Jew because for Israel the world is not completed. We are completing it.
I am a Jew because for Israel humanity is not created, we are creating it.
I am a Jew because Israel places humanity and its unity above the nations and above Israel itself.
I am a Jew because above humanity, image of divine unity, Israel is the image of divine.
Very nice, thank you. It's interesting that whenever we read liturgical poetry like this, the word Israel has multiple meanings. They're not always, the author is not always talking about the land of Israel, but the people. We are also the people of Israel. So depending upon what you're reading, it may be talking about the land, Eretz Israel, or it may be talking about us. So I think in this particular poem, it's talking about the people of Israel. Psalm 92 was sung by the Levites in the ancient temple. The rabbis thought that the words referred to a future, the time when every day would be like Shabbat. Let's read the text together at the bottom of page 140. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, to the 10-string harp, a voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for you for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock, in whom there is no wrong. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי הגיור בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. On page 142, Shalom Aleichem. The Midrash is that as you leave synagogue each Friday night, two angels follow you home. A good angel and a bad angel. Kind of like the cartoon, the devil and the angel, right? And they kind of have it out when you get into your house. If everything is great and nice, the good angel takes charge, and if it's not so great, the bad angel says, "Ha, I'm right. They'll be like me for next time." And we'll talk more about angels a little bit later tonight. But when we look at this, the lyrics to the song, "Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of Most High. Enter in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of Most High. Bless me with peace, O messengers of peace, angels of Most High. Depart in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High." That kind of tells me a little bit about what angels do. They come, they're sent by God, they come, they do something for God, and then they leave. They depart. And each angel has one job to do. You don't see, it's not like, angel 27A does 4 or 5 things. Every angel has its own particular function. And if you read the Torah, if you read the Tanakh, angels are all over the place. It's called the messengers of God, the angels of God. And they're men, sometimes they're women. It all depends upon what story you're reading. It's quite fascinating. I took a course over the last couple of weeks on angelology in Judaism, angels and demons, and it's quite fascinating. Because Jews you don't consider angels to be really a Jewish thing normally, but when you read out Scripture, it's all over the place. Shalom Aleichem Malachei Hasharet Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Orchem Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Hu Mile Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Seichem Shalom Malachei Hashalom Malachei Elyon Mimelech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So this week, we lost one of the greats in the world of popular music. Burt Bacharach was regarded as one of the most important figures in 20th century music. He won 6 Grammy Awards, 3 Academy Awards. He wrote mostly for Dionne Warwick in the early days, but he's written so many songs. If you take a look at his discography, you would be surprised that he wrote some of the things you know and you never thought of. So I'm thinking, on my way here tonight, I'm thinking, how can I give homage to such an important person, not only in music history, but in Jewish history, Jewish life. So I'm going to try this. If we rise for the Hatzi Kaddish on page 144. Yikadal v'yikadash Shnei Rabba be'amad yikra Yerutei B'achak malkutei V'chayekon u'yom echon Uv'chayekon beit Yisrael V'adala uzman kariv Ve'yimru Amen Ve'yimru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevarach Le'alam Ulamei Almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'at V'yitraman V'yitnaseh V'yitpadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shemei Dekudeshah Shemei Dekudeshah Beriku Le'ela Mikol Bekata V'shirata Tushbekata V'nechemata Tamira V'yama Le'ela Mikol Bekata V'shirata V'yimeru Amen.
Very good.
It was worth a shot. We remain standing for Baruch. Baruch Hu is found on page 146. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamorah. Baruch Adonai Hamorah le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamorah le'olam va'ed. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chokma poteach she'arim ובתנובה משנה עתים ומחלק את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו בורא יום ולילה גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ובין לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. And you may be seated. Page 149, we read together at the bottom of the page. This is an hour of change.
Within it is shall we draw back my brother and sister across over? Within it we stand by life and order of life. What lies before us shall we draw back my brother and my sister across over?
Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ma'ariv Aravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael. ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל. Let us read responsibly at the bottom of page 151. Wisdom and wonder, passionate instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. Then is holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Our song of redemption is coming up, but before that, we're going to do the Shema. Please rise. Oh, I hear something.
It was 7:50.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha V'kol livacha v'kol nafshecha V'kol me'odecha V'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele Asher Anochi mitzarecha Hayom al levavecha Vishinata Milanecha, Vidibarta Ba'am, Vishitaka V'reitecha, Uvleptecha Vadeh, Ushoshbeka Ufkunecha, Ukshartam Leoda Yadecha, V'ha'ilutotafot Beineinecha, Uftatam, Amazuzot Beitecha, Uvishavrecha, Leman Tiskeru, Vatitem et Kol Mitzvotai, Vitem Kedoshim Elohechem, Ahani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. We read at the top of page 157 an interpretive version of our Song of Redemption. Standing on the farthest shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai Spot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. There is no way to get from here to there except by the joining of hands and marching together. Mika Mocha is found on page 157. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our heart, and that we may lie down in peace and rise up to do your will. Page 161. understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Ashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Ashkiveinu, Lishalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. You keep singing in English. Let there be love, understanding among us. Adonai Elohim, friendship be our That's always so pretty when we sing it together. So most of the prayers in our Siddur were written by people, rabbis, sages, scholars, mystics. But some prayers hold higher esteem because they're actually direct quotations from the Torah. The Mikamocha was one of them. The next one, Vishamru, is also one of those. It comes directly from the book of Exodus, and it's the proof text for why we celebrate Shabbat every week. Page 162, let's read the English together. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. It's a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Vishamru. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לטובת בני עולם ריבית. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לטובת בני עולם. Beni urein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. וביום השמיני, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות הבאים עולם. So at this point, we come to the central prayer in all Jewish worship services. Page 164 begins our Amidah, which is standing prayer, also means tefillah, the prayer, and we rise. We will begin it together with Adonai Sekatai at the top, and then we will have our own private silent Amidah. And then when you're finished with your prayers, either the ones on the page or the words in your heart, you may be seated, and when everybody is finished, we will go. Adonai Shabbatai. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Page 175, which say, Say Adonai. Our Misha Bera prayer found on page 371 is the prayer we say for our loved ones, friends, family, who need an extra prayer. May they be physically sick, emotionally needing, spiritually needing, and if we're caregivers, praying for ourselves as well, because being a caregiver is just as hard as being sick. And tonight, our Misha Bera list includes Mary Franklin, Jerry Franklin, Abel Gluck, Mitchell Gluck, Bill Gluck, Ellen Gluck, Sophia Ani, and anyone else who you'd like to add to this list when I read back.
Patrick Polino.
Karen Seaver.
Richard Irwin, Louisville Cynthia.
Rebecca Ackerman.
Jordan Elliott. Cheryl Giardini.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and we say, Amen. Misha Bera. And at the bottom of the page, there's a special blessing, Birkat HaGomel, which is a blessing of thanksgiving that people say when they survive a life challenge, either physical injury, illness, surgery. So I am going to say the Gomel for me and my family, because as I'll explain in a little bit, it's been quite the last few weeks. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who has bestowed every goodness upon us. May the one who has bestowed gladness upon us continue to bestow every goodness upon us forever. Do we have any good news in our congregation tonight?
Both of my daughters have new jobs. My older one, whose fellowship is ending in June, has a permanent job, and my younger one at least has a job for 3 months.
Hey, 3 months is better than none, right? Mazel tov.
My niece had a baby boy last week, Finn. He's doing good, she's doing good, they're all doing good. And in 2 weeks, the three of us are going down to celebrate our grandson's second birthday.
Wow, it's 2 years already, huh?
2 years.
I remember when you were sitting there when it was your first year,
I know.
in the same spot.
Probably, yeah.
Anyone else?
My beloved Duke Blue Devils beat Carolina at home, revenge this week.
Mazel tov. I guess the Red Sox won? I tell my kids all the time, whenever they say any sport, I say, oh, the Red Sox won? That's what they're talking about.
I was confused, like, wait, I'm in baseball.
That's what they do too. Well, not everybody had something great to say tonight, so we're going to make everybody happy tonight by doing something, so getting something good for you to congratulate you with. If you had a birthday, or you knew somebody who had a birthday, in January or February, or upcoming March, Stan, you may, I invite you to stand. If you had an anniversary, or know somebody who had an anniversary this month, I invite you to stand. If you had recently had a major life cycle event, a wedding, a party, a bar mitzvah, new job, I invite you to stand. If you experienced something exciting, I invite you to stand.
Come on, let's
All right, if you're grateful for getting up this morning, if you are grateful for getting up this morning, stand. Turn to your neighbor and say Shabbat Shalom. And this is definitely a Shahatiana moment. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, sheheteyanu v'kimanu v'higianu l'zman hazeh. The prayer for our country can be found on page 376. And we'll read the bottom paragraph. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have, but share it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and to alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. They have governed with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. And we say amen. And the prayer for our holy congregation is down at the top of the page, and I invite somebody to read it for us. Excellent.
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Thank you. So this sermon was supposed to be last week. So let's talk about last week's portion, not this week's portion. But it's okay. We had a whole month to it's up to you. Last week's portion was Bishalach, and it derives its name from the second word of the parsha. Bishalach means when he sent forth, and it refers to Pharaoh's decision to release the Israelite slaves. Upon departing from Egypt, Moses doesn't lead people directly to the land of Israel. Instead, he takes them south from Goshen towards the Sea of Reeds, also known as the Red Sea. But like all poor decision makers, Pharaoh begins to regret his decision. As a result, he sends his entire army to bring the Israelites back to Egypt. Now, from a distance, the Israelites see what's happening, and they begin to cry to Moses, "Oh, why did we leave Egypt? Let us be and we'll serve the Egyptians, for it's better to be a slave than to die in the wilderness." And they whined and they cried. But then something miraculous happened. Moses held out his hand, and the water split, and a passageway formed for the Israelites to cross safely. We know how this ends, right? The Egyptians got to the passage, the waters came crashing down, their chariots locked, and the soldiers panicked, and they eventually drowned. Through his insistence to Moses, God saved the Israelites, because he kept saying to Moses, take them forward. So as a sort of victory celebration, Moses and the Israelites sing praises to God. The song contained these words: "Who is like you, O Lord, among the mighty? Who is like you, majestic in holiness? awesome in splendor, working wonders. The Lord will reign forever and ever. And imagine they singing in circles, and they're going round and round in circles, and the women had their tambourines. Miriam had the timbrel in her hand. Does anybody recognize those words? Turn to page 158 in your Siddur. And you will see that song. We sing it every Shabbat. And in fact, it's sung multiple times in a day. It's our very own Mikamoka. So my question to you is, was the parting of the sea a miracle? So first we have to define what a miracle is. Right? Dictionary.com defines a miracle as, and I quote, a surprising and welcome event that is not explicable by natural or scientific laws and is therefore considered to be the work of a divine agency. Unquote. Now, as you're reading the story where Mikamoka is in the Torah, chapter 14, verse 9 says, and I quote, the angel of God, who had been going ahead of the Israelite army, now moved and followed behind them. The pillar of cloud shifted from in front of them and took up a place behind them. And it came between the army of the Egyptians and the army of Israel. So there was this cloud in front, and all of a sudden, the cloud shifted behind, in between us and the Egyptians. What do you think? According to our definition of a miracle, do you consider this event a miracle? What do you think? It's okay to be wrong. Or right. I mean, there's no right answer. Anyone?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about clouds, clouds can move, rain can come, so, from a scientific standpoint, it's conceivable that there was a sudden thunderstorm and rain came down.
That's the scientific method. Right? Anyone else? No one for the foreside? The positive side? Okay. The Jewish view on miracles is interesting. In the Torah, the Israelites would probably not consider the parting of the Red Sea a miracle. Because if you recall, the definition of miracle requires something to happen that goes against nature. But in biblical times, God and nature were one. The Bible's word for miracle, nes, like on the dreidel, nes gadol, right? Means something, it means really a sign. A miracle was something God wrought in order to make a statement, to change the course of human affairs. Rambam says that a miracle cannot prove what's impossible. It is only useful to confirm what is possible. So the early rabbis had a lot of difficulty using the word miracle for that reason. How could you separate God from nature? So this is how they got around it. They're very clever. In the 2nd century, Rabbi Isaac says, when the Israelites approached the Red Sea, God called upon the great angel who was appointed to rule over the sea. And in Rabbi Isaac's explanation, God said to the angel, at the time I created the world, I appointed you, angel, over this sea. And I made an agreement with you, that later when the Israelites would need to pass through the waters, you would divide it for them. So Rabbi Isaac made the concept of the miracle more palatable by just saying that the splitting of the sea was preordained. God knew ahead of time what was going to happen. So he stacked the deck in the favor of the Israelites. I like that idea. Verse 21 goes on to say, then Moses held out his arm over the sea, and Adonai drove back the sea with a strong east wind all that night and turned the sea into dry ground. The waters were split. Now, going back to your way of thinking, what if that east wind was strong enough to move some of the water and it left the neck of the inlet with only a small amount left that was shallow enough for people to cross through? Yeah. Who knows? We weren't there, right? But I think the moral to the story is that labeling something a miracle is dependent upon the person who witnesses it. The same thing with angels. The Tanakh is full of stories where an angel of God is the protagonist. Who knows if they're angels? Does it really matter if they're real or not? Those of us who believe or need to believe in angels or miracles, believe in them. to make sense of the world. Last week was a very trying time, well, 2 weeks ago now, was a very trying time for my family. First, we had a kitchen fire. And in an effort to control it, my wife's clothing caught fire. She was literally in flames. Luckily, I was able to put her out with a towel, and I was able to put out the fire on her and the kitchen. But she's had second-degree burns now on her abdomen. 3 days later, on the way to school, a woman crashed into my car head-on. That's why I'm wearing this. And I'm still jostled a little bit. But thanks to the seatbelt and the airbags, the only injury I received was a knock on the head and a broken wrist. Now, my poor car, on the other hand, was totaled. Matter of fact, the state police had to drive me to school because from the accident site I had no way of getting anywhere, right? But for about a mile, there are pieces of my car on the side of the road. That's how, and every airbag, I didn't even know that there were so many airbags in my car. There are airbags underneath the dash for your legs, to protect your legs. I had no idea they were there. Now, during that week, the week prior to all these incidents, I was taking a course on angels and demons. And the course was called Jewish Angelology, and it defined an angel as a messenger of God. God sends this angel to earth to carry a message or to do something for God. I was deep in reading stories from the Torah that had prominent angels, and I was really contemplating if this could be true. Then those accidents happened. And I tell you something, there was an angel with my wife Gay in the kitchen that day, and with me in my Nissan Road. She could have been horribly burned and disfigured, and I should not have been able to walk out of that car with an injury like this. But I did. And just like it's up to the witnesses to determine if something is a miracle, it's also up to you if you're angels. But still not convinced, let's look at some modern day or current events that could be considered miracles. Number one, a 22-month-old Gardell Martin was playing with his siblings in Pennsylvania. He went missing and was found by a neighbor a quarter mile away, unconscious and caught up in a tree branch with water rushing around him. So this poor baby was hanging upside down in a tree. The boy's body temperature was 77 degrees, and the ambulance crew did CPR on him for 101 minutes. When he regained consciousness, his brain functioned without deficit. Number two, in March 2015, a 25-year-old lost control of her car and landed in an icy river in Utah. 14 hours later, rescue and police found the driver's 18-month-old daughter hanging upside down in her car seat just above the water as well. This pattern. But this time, the rescuers reported that just prior to finding the child, they heard an adult voice yelling, "Help me, help me," from inside the car. But the voice couldn't have come from the child's mother because she died in the accident. Where did that voice come from? Number three, things did not look good for a 21-year-old B-17 bomber pilot named John Stellatano and his crew on a February day in 1945. He had just completed a 4-hour flight to Leipzig, Germany. Enemy anti-aircraft fire was brutal. 3 of their 4 engines were damaged, and bad weather was closing in that day, and they couldn't see the ground. That day, the same time, back in Westerly, Rhode Island, John's 20-year-old wife, Mary, went into labor with their first child, their daughter, Sharon. Many years later, Mary wrote, "I know now she was the flying angel with my husband and his crew that day, since it was one of the worst missions that they'd ever been on. Many bombers were lost, and my husband's plane was badly hit by flak. I think miracles do happen. My husband and his crew will always remember that day and our daughter's birthday." Who knows if these occurrences are really miracles? Was there an angel accompanying John in his doomed flight? We'll never know for sure. But that's what faith is. The ability to rationalize events with your heart, not scientific evidence. So as you go out and look at this wonderful world and this beautiful nature that we have, look for angels. If you look hard enough, you may be surprised at what you find. Shabbat shalom. We begin our closing prayers on page 586 as we rise for a lady. Aleinu Shabbat Adon Mako, Latinu La Liotzer Neshit, Shelo Asan Gioye Arasot, Velo Samanu, Krishmakon Adama, Shelo Sam Yakin Kahem, Vegor Aleinu, Yekol Amonam, Anavnu Korim, Umishatarim, Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Tonight we remember Eleanor Rockwell Edelstein, Elliot Klasky, father of Joan Fondell, Max Makowski, Ethel J. Cohen, Evelyn Sergey Sackett, mother of Herb Sackett, Arlene Eisenstadt Kay, sister of Donna Newfield, Nathan Eisenstadt, father of Donna Newfield, Leonard Lewison, husband of Carol Lewison, Molly Leviton, Lena Leviton, Shirley Liebman, mother of Beth Reagan, Henry Turok, father of Eleanor Braden, Louis Levy, grandfather of Kennedy, Jamie Hirsch, granddaughter of Ferd LeBeau, Sarah Leviton, Robert B. Suzman, Hyman Yarosletsky, Max Martyr, Julia F. Hoffman, Benjamin Cohen, Donna Glickman, daughter of Martin Glickman, Delmore Elliott Hoffman, father of Deborah Darker, David Leviton, Hannah Driller, Josephine N. Kessman, aunt of Paula R. Reynolds, Jesse Malosky, Ida E. Levy, grandmother of Kennedy, Gary Lappin, brother of Rosalind Guarnieri, Kate Brody, Shirley Helen Sackett, sister of Herb Sackett, Dorothy Merman, Sylvia Wolf, Gloria Brody. If anyone has any names to add to this list, I invite you to add them at this time.
It's a smoky smell. Patrick, are you burning something up there?
No, this, what always happens this time of year, flies must fall out and they fall off the ceiling when I first year lamp. About 2 years ago, I almost told us we had to leave, but it smells awful. It's just a fly. Flying the other bit.
So back to the Kaddish for the floor, 590. Bi'amad, Yirah, Yireh, Yamri, Amal, Yireh. V'chayekol, Yirechol, V'chayeh, V'chayeh, Yisrael. V'agalah, V'zman, Karim, Yirud, Yehei Shmei, Rabah, Barak, Ve'alam, U'almei, Almaya. Yitbarak, Yishtabach, Yitbahar, Yitromam, Yitnaseh. V'yitadar, Yitbaleh, Yitbalach, Shmei, Yishah, Yiriku. Ela Bimpo Birkata Bashirata, Tushkata, Nethemata, Ta'amiram Yama, Ru, Yehe Rama Mishamayim, Bekai Mamenu, All Israel, Ose Shalom, Ma, Uya Se Shalom, Mamenu, All Israel, Ose Shalom. Our closing song is on page 600.